Good morning. My name is Kevin Campbell, and today we're going to talk about respecting the privacy of others when we use social media or post online. This lesson was adapted from Common Sense Media. So a few things we're going to do today in this conversation is consider the possible benefits and risks of sharing information online. We'll try to recognize the importance of context in posting or viewing online images. And we'll attempt to understand what choices we need to make to protect the privacy of others online. So one of our essential questions that we have to ask ourselves today is, can we respect the privacy of others online? And according to a recent Pew Research study, 92% of all teenagers between the ages of 13 and 17 years old go online daily. This has become a major part of our life, social media. So it becomes really important to understand the line between what is invading someone's privacy, what might be oversharing, what might be damaging someone's reputation, and what might be an appropriate way to share, what might be something that's fun, something that's public, and something that an individual wouldn't mind sharing to the bigger world. So it's important that we define a couple terms that we're going to talk about today when we start to reflect on our ability to use social media appropriately. So one of those terms is privacy. And we use the term privacy, it can mean a lot of different things in different situations. But for our conversation today, I want to focus on the Oxford English Dictionary's definition of privacy, which is the state of being free from public attention. And this may seem kind of odd because social media is somewhat the opposite of public attention. So it becomes really important that we think about what's appropriate. What does privacy mean in this context? And we'll talk about context as well in a few slides. We have to think about consent. So when we're posting things on social media, are we asking for people's permission to do that? Or is it simply something that we do without much of a care for what other people might think? So again, consent means permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. So it's important to ask people, is it all right if I post this on social media? Because every social media posting, everything we post online, we tag people, we make comments, can have an effect on an individual's reputation. And again, reputation, according to the OED, is the beliefs or opinions that are generally held about someone or something. Reputation is an incredibly important part of our lives, and it is something that can persist throughout our lives, particularly with digital and social media use. The persistence, the continued existence of posts that we put online means that the things you do today and the things you post today, the pictures, the comments, the images, the memes that you post, they will live in perpetuity on these social media platforms, and in many cases become the property of these social media platforms. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So, some key questions we have to ask ourselves before we post. What kinds of things might be good for your reputation in the future if they were posted now? And I know the future is something that can be somewhat abstract, particularly when you're a teenager, but the things you say and do today, if they're documented and held online, can persist for years and decades. So you have to think about how your actions today, if made public, might affect your opportunities later on in life, such as college applications or getting your first job and so forth. What kinds of things might be harmful to your reputation? Why do you think things posted online tend to persist? And yes, Snapchat content persists as a corporation's property. In fact, here is a quotation from the Snap Incorporated privacy policy. Keep in mind that while our systems are designed to carry out our deletion practices automatically, we cannot promise that deletion will occur within a specific time frame. So bear in mind that everything you post on Snapchat, while it may disappear on your end, can be screenshotted by the people you're sending it to, and may exist on Snapchat servers for an indeterminate amount of time. So there are some unintended consequences from sharing. I'd like for you to read the Drunken Pirate article and discuss the following questions with your group. And I will leave these on the board for you to read after you're done with reading the Drunken Pirate article. So think before you post. This is one of the most important things that you can do. And these are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves before we post. Do you ever post things online about your friends? Do you comment or tag on their photos? How do you decide what is okay to post? We need to consider persistence, reputation, privacy, and consent. And what does the word context mean, and why does it matter when you post things online? And again, context are the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and in which it can fully be understood. We use the word context in our history classes and English classes, social studies classes, almost daily. Context matters, and when images or sound bites or statements are taken out of context, individuals can infer new meanings that were never intended, and that can have some dire consequences in some cases. So let's take a look at an example. Here's a picture. Might be something you're familiar with seeing. This looks like some sort of a party picture with some friends. And let's take a look at a couple of tags or a couple of comments and determine whether we think these might be healthy or harmful. So here we have best party ever. LOL, I look wasted. Love you guys. Was this before or after Rachel puked? Or Mike, your parents should go out of town more often. And I think after we discuss this, you'll find that this might be the most appropriate comment post, particularly for students that look like they're probably, I don't know, juniors, seniors in high school, maybe. So, what should you ask yourself before you post? I'd like for you to consider this with your group mates right now, and I'll just give you a couple of guiding questions here that you might want to consider. Who might see this post? Did I ask for permission to tag people or post pictures? Is it possible that my friend might think it is harmful or hurtful? Would I feel comfortable if someone posted this about me? And how might this affect the person's reputation? And lastly, could this information be offensive or perceived as harassment? This is a really, really important question to ask yourself, particularly if you're posting pictures of other people without their consent. Harassment is a very real thing, and it is often something that, well, many times it can be unintentional, but that doesn't change the fact that it's harassing. So it's really important to consider all of these questions before you post online. And I do like this image here with think. Is it true? Is it hurtful? Is it illegal? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Those are good rules of thumb when you're posting online. And here are my sources. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson.